I'm Diana McCallum.
I'm Ian MacIntyre.
This is episode 21 of Fan vs. Fan for The Flash.
What are you doing to me? Help! Sentinel, help me! I can hear you in my head. You are telepathic. Please. Oh, no.
All right, so this week on The Flash, the series became the best television show in the history of the medium. The episode started out with Iris walking in on Barry, revealing that she found out his secret identity, which I'm glad they didn't take a long time hiding. Then, very quickly, someone was robbing some banks or some gold bullion trucks, and it turned out that it was General Ealing from earlier in the season being psychically controlled by Grodd, who they've been teasing for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we finally got to see, and it was better than any of us could have dreamed.
Nobody saved Eddie.
And nobody saved Eddie whatsoever.
All right, this is a dumb question, but what did you like, Ian?
I liked the scenes where Eddie was kidnapped. No, I'm kidding. I liked every single thing they did with Grodd in this episode.
It was all so good.
It was so great. They've been teasing this for months. Really since the pilot episode when we saw Grodd's cage broken open.
Yeah, just a broken cage. Since episode 1. Like, way to tease.
And it's one of those things where watching that pilot, I was like, there's no way that this show on the CW that's about superhero powers and relationships is going to show me a telepathic gorilla as a villain of the week. And damned if I wasn't wrong.
And they easily could not have. I mean, we've been to Ferris Air a bunch of times, but we haven't seen Green Lantern. Like, it could have just been a thing that never came back.
Yeah.
But no, we got Gorilla Grodd. And they were so smart in how they did this, because I was so certain when we eventually got this, it was going to be a hilarious episode.
Yeah.
And I was so scared.
Okay, one of my favorite things was that first scene where we properly saw Grodd with Joe there, I guess with his ribs broken.
Yeah, and also with the gun at his head.
With the gun at his head. And, I mean, Jesse L. Martin is a solid actor already. Like, we all knew that. But he was genuinely terrified as he was about to be forced to shoot himself. And the Grodd that they had was legit terrifying.
He was terrifying. They did a great job with, like, the scary intro with the water and the Jurassic Park style. Like, that was all amazing. But then Jesse L. Martin, in a scene where he's working with, like, a CG should-be ridiculous villain,
yes,
doing, like, an Emmy-worthy performance. He was, like, crying in fear, like, legitimately amazing.
Yeah, in true Jaws fashion, you could tell that they found a lot of ways around showing Grodd, so that they could keep him off camera a lot to keep him scarier, you know, you're imagining him. But the moments when they finally did show him were like, the payoffs were great. The effects work was really solid.
It was. And like, you hide him a little so you don't have to do so much effects, but it also is how you do horror. Like,
yeah,
it just worked out nicely. He was great. He looked amazing. He's conditioning a lot because his fur was so shiny. For a guy who lives in a sewer, great looking fur.
So Diana, what were your pros for this episode?
Joe's acting, not just with Grodd, his scene with Iris was beautiful too.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Joe manages to make just Jesse L. Martin, wow, all of his deep connection scenes with people are always spot on.
Yep.
And then another just pro, obviously, is not just that Iris got to do things,
yeah,
she's instantly a better character.
Already.
Like I feel relieved.
Yeah.
Like, she did great work. She had things to work with. Like, she had depth. This is the Iris I wanted all season. I can't believe they did it in the third to last episode.
Well, I mean, I get that they've got to have arcs for the season, and
21 episodes of her doing nothing.
I wouldn't have minded this so much if they had found something compelling for her character to be doing up until this point, but it always felt like they were reaching and searching.
Yeah, it was always just hiding things from Iris while she's working at a coffee shop. And she's obviously the new Wells. She's the new Run, Barry, Run.
Of course, yeah. And that scene could have easily been pretty cheesy, but I actually really bought it. The scene where she was telling him, like, no, you can focus, do this, do it for me, do it for love, I guess. As you said online, love beats telepathic gorilla powers every single time.
Every time.
I'm curious to see if Candice Patton gets some heavy lifting of her own to do dramatically on the show, now that she's more in the fold. and more on the team, but I instantly already like her and Grant Gustin better as a screen couple.
Yeah, it's amazing how instantaneous it was.
Yeah.
And I think she's already gotten more to do dramatically, because one thing I did like that she did this episode is she cried in 2 different scenes.
Sure.
But she did really subtle crying where she wasn't like some people cry on stage on camera and they wipe them and they like get their face all mushed up, and she just like the tears were falling, and she wasn't drawing attention to the fact that she was being emotional. I thought she did a great job.
No, me too.
All right, this is a pretty good episode, but what were your cons, Ian?
Not a lot of cons. Honestly, wasn't wild about the opening voiceover with Iris.
It felt a little over-dramatic.
Little on the nose, but very quickly they moved past that and got her into Star Labs, and it was a lot of fun, so I'll leave that. My only other con was the game they were playing with Cisco calling out movie references and then being like, Cisco, you and your movie references. Got to be a little much.
I don't know. Joe only said that like once, didn't he? I mean, Cisco always throws out movie references.
But then he kept calling out movies after it, and I was like, okay, I get it. Cisco is the nerd that the writers hang their obsessions with movies on.
Yeah, but also Cisco's us. I mean, he was excited about Grodd as we were.
Yes.
I mean, us watching it were Cisco. We were all Cisco.
Of course, and that part was legitimately super fun. Just Cisco geeking out about the fact that they were hunting down a telepathic gorilla.
Okay.
I can't say telepathic gorilla enough.
He didn't try to turn anyone into apes. That's my con.
Oh, buddy, season 2.
Season 2,
because we're getting
apes.
more Grodd. He is coming back, and he will turn everyone in Central City into a gorilla, because as you said before, that is always Grodd's plan. Before this show is over, I just need to see Grant Gustin in the Flash suit turned into a gorilla. That's all I want. That's all I want, and this show will be better than The Wire. It will be better than anything in the history of television. I Love Lucy, The Simpsons, I don't care. Grant Gustin as a gorilla in the Flash suit running at super speed.
Look out, Breaking Bad. You got nothing on future Flash episodes.
And how about you, Diana? What was your con?
My con is kind of for this episode, and I think for future episodes. I miss Wells in the lab.
Sure.
I love Wells, and now that he's like full villain, and you know he's not going to be in the lab, like I felt his presence was missing in the lab.
Yeah, the dynamic of the show is different, and they'll have to refine that.
And I actually kind of wish he hadn't turned out to be the bad guy. I loved him in the lab. I thought his dynamic with everyone was great, his energy, Tom Cavanaugh's acting. Like, he's a really fun villain, too, so I can't have everything, but he just, you really noticed he was missing in the lab.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if somehow they could get back the Harrison Wells who died like 10 years ago, but he doesn't know any of them?
But still, if you've got time travel, we got a bunch of things we can do.
Like, he doesn't remember the last 10 years, he doesn't know anything, they have to constantly explain who the president is.
So we're going to do a kind of comment Easter egg section for last week's episode. So one of our commenters, Ian Owen, pointed out, did you guys notice that previous episode showed the newspaper did not have Iris as the author? Previously, Evan Gibson was the writer. The timeline must have changed. So do we think the timeline changed recently?
I suspect that they just had placeholder text
Back
in the pilot episode, and that they only realized down the road that they wanted to put in the names of a bunch of superheroes and Iris. I suspect that if the creators of the show ever get asked that question, they will say it was a timeline change. So let's go with that, because it's a better answer.
Well, because the paper did disappear one time.
It did?
And the crisis vanished, and then we got the crisis back.
It's true.
So we have had, like, multiple changes to that newspaper, so I can see,
yes.
I can see what you're getting at.
Yes, other Ian. Let's go with your explanation.
Timeline change.
Timeline change.
And we had several people point this out, but I'm going to go with Chaos DK. Not to mention the glasses.
Also a really cool name.
The glasses with the tiny slits that Barry wore, they were pretty reminiscent of the Captain Cold glasses that he wears in the comics. They were. We noticed that, but I think we forgot to mention.
Yeah. Those were pretty badass, though.
I'm Diana McCallum.
I'm Ian MacIntyre.
It's been episode 21 of Fan vs. Fan for the Flash. If you want to live tweet along with us every week, you can follow us at Twitter. And we use the hashtag Fan vs. Fan, and every week we live tweet every episode.
You can also subscribe right here. I'm going to point with authority for once. Right here, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will get these updates every week.
And we also do Fan vs. Fan for Game of Thrones, and you can follow along live tweeting with the Fan v Fan tag, and you can subscribe for those videos too.
They do good work.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Kicked him out.